All right, well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the regular meeting of the Texarkana, Texas City Council. Today is Monday, February the 26th, 2024. We'd like to welcome everyone who is joining us this evening for our council meeting, and I will ask that our city secretary, Ms. Jennifer Evans, to provide a roll call. Ms. Evans?
Mr. Mitter?
Here.
Ms. Williams?
Here.
Mr. Davis?
Here.
Ms. Matlock? Ms. Page?
Here.
Ms. Hart?
Okay, Councilmember Matlock is not able to be with us this evening, and so in her absence, I will be voting on matters that come before the council this evening. And also, Councilmember Matlock is scheduled for the pledge and invocation, so I will go ahead and lead that this evening. If everyone will please stand. Our Heavenly Father, we thank you for this beautiful day that you provided us with the sunshine and the warmer temperatures. And Father, we thank you for those who are in attendance this evening to our council meeting, that they will find it to be informative. And Father, I ask that you watch and guide over the council this evening as we take up matters in the interest of our citizens, that we'll make decisions that are beneficial to all. And we ask that you bless our first responders, our police officers, our firefighters, our representatives from LifeNet, who put their lives on the line each and every day to serve and protect our citizens. And we ask these things in your Son's precious name. Amen.
Amen.
If you'll please face the flag. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Thank you very much. You may be seated.
And I'll pull myself in.
Okay, at this time we'll have our Youth Advisory Council presentation. The 2024 Texas Youth Advisory Council Summit was recently held, and we have Chloe Hill with us this evening, who will be providing the council and those in the audience some information in reference to the summit and perhaps some other activities that are taking place with our Youth Advisory Council. So, Chloe, good evening. All right, we're glad to have you with us. And other representatives from the Student Youth Advisory Council who are here, if you all will come up and stand with her. We certainly, if you don't mind, would you please introduce yourselves so that we'll all know who you are, besides Chloe, the other two ladies here. If you'll please state your name and the school that you attend.
My name is Zuri Mulder, and I go to Pleasant Grove.
Pleasant Grove,
I'm
okay.
Trinity Chase, and I also go to Pleasant Grove.
Okay, all right, Trinity. Okay, all right. Chloe, I'll turn it over to you.
All right. Is there a way I can?
And you might, if you don't mind, stand a little bit closer to the microphone or bring it a
Okay.
little bit closer to you. That'll be. You can actually lower it if you need to. You can adjust it. Okay?
Okay. Hi, I'm Chloe. February 2nd through 4th, we went to Lewisville, Texas for a summit to meet other organizations like us. It's used for schools, cities, and any other community youth groups to come together and learn from each other. Groups presented their community service projects, and it allowed everyone else to be inspired by their work. It was a great experience to get to know more people like us and get some more ideas. We saw some great service ideas. We got inspired by a lot of them. And yeah, it was very inspiring to see more people like us, because you don't see kids like this every day that want to take initiative and help their community out. So it was very cool for us to see. The first speaker we had was standing on business and defining effective community leadership. So in order to be a good leader in your community, you should spread awareness, you should inspire others, empower other youth, because we are the future of our communities, support local economy, and have responsibilities and roles. So like us, we all have roles in our youth group, and it's very important to have these things. The next was public speaking. The key is to get the audience intrigued. Share stories to connect with the audience, the why of the speech. Be authentic, confident, and have stage presence. Have confidence. If not, it'll show. And then have a range of voice, body language. Networking. Have great first impressions always. Networking is very important because today you have to know people in order to get some things, to get positive things, you have to know people and have connections. So it's always good to make a good impression. Build bonds with your surrounding environment, and then engage with local businesses and figure out what's needed around you. So what needs more attention around your city? Volunteering ties back to networking. You need to know people in order to volunteer. Fundraising is also very important, and it ties back to the local economy, spreading awareness and inclusiveness. So make sure everyone's involved, and what you're standing for helps everyone and is beneficial to everyone. And then we learned money basics, which is honestly the most beneficial for me because I'm not good at saving money. We learned about debit cards and credit cards and why they're important. I didn't have a good sense of credit cards before this speaker, but after I learned more about credit cards and why they're important, it helps you build your credit, and we learned the good range and why it affects us, because when you're buying a car or you're buying a house, your credit is very important. Our future plans. We plan to volunteer at Heritage Plaza and help the workers with the elders. And we're trying to do like activities and games. They're leaning towards bingo, but we're gonna see what else we can do. And then the big event, this is for the college, Texas A&M, and it's just a day for service. Student governments have a full day of service projects, so it's also very fun helping around Texarkana. And then running WJ Ranch, which is a place for therapeutic horse riding. And they need help sometimes cleaning their stables and things like that. So we are going to be those people to help with anything they needed. And then et cetera, because we plan to do so much more. These are just the base things as of right now, but we want to do a lot more this year. And then here's a few pictures of us at the summit. And thank you so much.
Thank you.
Very good. Does anyone on the council have a question or comment relating to their activities? We certainly appreciate the great work that you all are doing. You all have hit the ground running with various activities and projects. And Chiquita, I want to thank you for being the liaison from the city with this group and the work that you're doing with them as well. So we're very excited about this new initiative at our city and the great work that you're doing as we have future leaders among us here in our high schools locally in the Texarkana area. So thank you all very much for being here this evening. I do have a public service announcement that I would like to share with everyone as we move through our announcements this evening. Our vital statistics office, this is our office that handles requests for birth certificates as well as death certificates. I would like to remind citizens this is a very busy time of the year with tax season, school sports, and applying for passports. Allow yourself ample time in case there are unforeseen problems with obtaining your certificate. Some requests cannot be fulfilled due to missing or altered information. Check the city's website to ensure you have everything required to purchase your certificate. The website also has a list of acceptable ID and qualified applicants, along with applications for mail-in or drop-off service. Be sure to check with the office that requires the birth certificate as to which form is acceptable. Any Texas birth certificate can be obtained from Austin. So just an announcement to pass along to everyone this evening. Our council meetings for the month of March will be held on Monday, March the 11th and Monday, March the 25th at 6 p.m. There will be an upcoming Arbor Day tree giveaway. The 10th annual Arbor Day tree giveaway will take place this coming Saturday, March the 2nd. The drive-through event will start at 8:30 a.m. at Spring Lake Park across from the Rotary Splash Pad, and it will end at 10:30 a.m. or when all the seedlings have been given out. For more information, you can contact Brooke Stone at 903-798-3901. In reference to Parks and Recreation activities, on March the 2nd and 3rd, there will be an NCS softball tournament held at Wallace Park. And on March the 9th, the TYSA USA softball tournament will be held at Carr Park. Additional Parks and Recreation information can be found on the city's website. At this time, move along to our open forum comments from the public. If there's anyone in the audience this evening who would like to address the council, you're welcome to do so. If you are here this evening to speak on behalf of one of our public hearing items, then we ask that you please wait until we get to that particular item. We're more than happy to listen to your comments at that time. And we also ask that you fill out one of the sheets located on the rack next to the door so that we'll have a written copy of your presence here. Ms. Evans, were there any sheets filled out this evening?
Yes, Mayor, I have one The name on the sheet is Tim Young.
Okay, Mr. Tim Young. Mr. Tim Young, if you're here, if you'll please come forward and stand at the podium, and you will have 5 minutes. And we want to welcome you to our council meetings this evening, sir.
Mr.
Okay.
Bergerman. Name's Tim Young. I live at 152 Lake Breeze Drive, out near the Wright Patman Lake. What I have is what I believe to be a huge historical find on my property. Took Amber Avenue that I know of. I've been to the college a few times. They said they don't have anybody there now. The woman that was there that took care of that type of thing is no longer there. I've tried for a month to talk to Mr. Bergerman, but I found out there's no way that's going to be possible unless I'm right here. So here I am.
When did you reach out to me, sir?
I've been trying to talk to you for a month. I've been to the police station. I've been here a couple times to try to talk to you. Somebody said they was going to come out and look at it either Friday or Monday, and it never happened. So I decided this is the best place for me to present what I've got.
Well, I'm sorry, I wasn't aware that you were trying to locate.
Yes,
so
sir.
Go ahead.
Now, this is also going to benefit the city of Texarkana, Texas, because what I've found, some of it goes under the county road, Lake Breeze. Like I said, I've took Amber Avenue that I know of to get somebody to listen to me. So that's the reason I'm here tonight, to get somebody to look at what I've got. I think it's going to be big for Texarkana, Texas.
Okay, so your residence is actually outside the city limits, is that correct?
Well, it's out by Wright Patman, yes, sir.
Okay, so you're a resident of the county, okay.
Yes, sir.
All
Yes,
right,
sir.
and so are you able to elaborate on exactly what you've
I've
found of
I've been
significance?
I've been on this mission for about a year and a half. I've tore up every corner of my yard. I've really been rained out because of that by my wife. But I said, I know what's here. I've had old country boy. I've had my hands in dirt all my life. I know what belongs and what don't. And this is it's going to be a huge historical find, sir. I've got some pictures if you want to take a look at that.
Okay, we can certainly do that. Have you made contact with like the State Historical Commission or anything like that?
Not the state, no, sir.
Okay.
Like I said, I've been to college a few times to see if they could get somebody to come out and look at what I've got, and that never materialized. So I thought the best place for me to present was here in front of y'all.
Okay.
So
All right. So, but you had rather not share exactly what it might be?
yes,
or?
sir. I know what it's going to be. It's going to be octopus, sir.
It's what?
Octopus. Octopus.
Octopus.
Yes, sir. When I've got them uncovered, when the sunlight hits them just right, they turn chameleon. I mean, I know what's there, and I feel like it's going to be many, sir, many, not one, many of these.
Are they on top of the surface of the ground or down
Well,
within the ground?
I've been on this mission for over a year, sir, and I've finally got to the heart to where I need to be, as they're visible now.
Okay. Well, we have your contact information, and so we'll see about following up with someone to check into this further. Okay. Anything else you'd like to share with us?
That's going to be it.
Okay. All right. We thank you for your time, sir.
I appreciate you listening to me.
Okay. You're welcome, sir. Have a good evening. Got the only one you had, Ms. Evans, on the sheet. Is there anyone else who would like to address the council this evening? If not, we'll move along to our appointments to boards, commissions, and committees. Do we have any appointments to be made by the council this evening relating to these activities? All right, hearing none, we'll move along to our items for consideration. We have two items this evening on the consent agenda. Item 1 is to consider approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of the City Council held on February the 12th, 2024 at 6 p.m. Item number 2 is resolution number 2024-026, authorizing the city manager to execute a contract with Norris Design for consultation and development of the park's master plan in an amount not to exceed $32,400, with funds budgeted in the general fund, Fund number 101. Unless a council member would like to pull one or more items for further review, I will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as it has been presented. Is there a motion for approval?
So moved.
We have a motion by Councilmember Williams and a second by Councilmember Hart. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The consent agenda has been approved. We have one action item this evening on our agenda relating to action to be taken by the council this evening. It's action item number 3, ordinance number 2024-023, authorizing the city manager to accept a grant from the State Energy Conservation Office, SECO, in the amount of $50,000 to execute a contract with Holistic Utility Solutions in an amount not to exceed $82,355 for Southwest Center lighting repairs and upgrades, to be paid for with grant funds of $50,000, a SWEPCO incentive of $4,100, and funding from the Parks Department in the general fund, Fund 101, of $28,255, and amending the budget for fiscal year beginning October 1, 2023, and ending September 30th, 2024, to include the SECO Grant Fund, Fund 247, and appropriate additional revenue and expenditures in this fund of $82,355. And we have Keith Beeson from the city staff who is going to provide some additional information to the council this evening relating to this item. Good evening, Keith.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. Thank you for giving us this time to speak on this. This is a project that we've worked with the State Energy Conservation Office to be awarded a grant of $50,000. We've worked with Holistic Utility Solutions that also helped us along this way. And what I didn't actually include was the Collins Center as well. So the Collins Senior Center interior lighting. So this would be retrofitting all of our outdoor and indoor lighting for the parking lot, the tennis courts, pickleball courts, and indoor lighting in the Southwest Center, and then indoor lighting only in the Collins Center with LED lighting. So there is a grant of $50,000, and then we have an expected from SWEPCO, an incentive, $4,100 that will help offset the cost of retrofitting these lighting fixtures.
Okay, all right, very good. Any questions for Keith from the council on this item? Okay, no, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate the information. All right. Is there any further discussion on this item by the council? All right. If not, I'll entertain a motion for approval.
So moved.
We have a motion from Councilmember Davis, a second from Councilmember Page. Ms. Evans, the caption, please.
An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Texarkana, Texas, authorizing the city manager to accept a grant award from the State Energy Conservation Office, or SECO, of $50,000 for lighting upgrades at the Southwest Center and to execute a contract with Holistic Utility Solutions to install the lighting at the Southwest Center for $82,355, with remainder to be paid from a SWEPCO incentive in the amount of $4,100 and funds set aside in the Parks Department of the General Fund, which is Fund 101, in the amount of $28,255, and amending the budget for the fiscal year ending September 30, 2024, to include the SECO Grant Fund 247 and appropriate additional revenue and expenditures of $82,355 and establishing an effective date.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ordinance passes. Moving along to our first briefings, we do have we have two first briefing items this evening. Item 1 is resolution number 2024-024, authorizing the city manager to execute a contract with Symmetry Sports, TIPS 230104-02, in the amount of $3,049,622 for construction at the soccer complex located at Grady T. Wallace Park, and allocating additional funds in the amount of $150 for contingency items for a total project cost not to exceed $3,199,622, with funds budgeted in the 2023 bond fund, Fund 426, and the general fund, Fund 101. And we have a public hearing on this item scheduled for our next meeting on March the 11th, as well as the council vote that evening, and those dates hold true for item number 2 relating to our first briefing items this evening. We have Ross Cowling from city staff to brief the council on this item this evening. Good evening, Ross.
Hey, good evening, Mayor, Council. We've been working diligently with MTG and with Symmetry, working on this project. We do see it as major improvements, but it's also a big investment for our community to have these upgrades and just the business that it will bring to town. Mr. Nick Robertson is going to talk to you this evening about the enhancements and what they will bring at Spring Lake Park, highlight a bunch of those projects, and then also at Wallace Complex, and let us know what's going on with both those projects. Nick?
Good evening.
Sir. How are you?
Doing well, and yourselves?
Doing fine, thank you.
Great. So I wanted to speak with y'all briefly this evening about the two projects just mentioned. First and foremost, the city of Texarkana adopted a bond to fund these projects with the incentives to bring revenues in. And so one of the things in building the scopes for these two projects that we noticed, you're bringing excellent candidates in the means of Spring Lake Park and Wallace, both of them having great access, road access in and out. Also, the city, y'all have great facilities here for dining and hotel rooms. And so you have all the means to capture the revenues from out-of-town play. So without further ado, I was going to dive into what these projects would entail, starting with Spring Lake Park. Give a little bit of a flyover here. Spring Lake Park, we would be looking at 6 full synthetic baseball fields with capabilities for all age groups to be able to utilize those fields. We would also be looking at expanding and remodeling the concession restroom facilities with the addition of a breezeway and canopy there in the middle for inclement weather incidents. Additionally, we would be looking at new sidewalk access and fire lane access to keep up with code with the new structures, and some added parking as well. And here's a glimpse of the concession restroom facility. Utilizing your existing facility, repurposing it, giving it updates, repurposing that square footage. This would include the T-ball fields and all the 5 there in the cluster together. And here you'll see where there's multiple age groups accommodated on one of the fields there. They would accommodate as big of an age group. You know, obviously your T-ball field wouldn't host your 14-year-olds, but they would have as much, their versatility would be maximized to the extent that they could. Moving along to Wallace Complex. At Wallace, we would be looking at also remodeling and expanding the concession and restroom facilities. That expansion would include the added restroom facilities needed for the amount of patrons that utilize that park regularly and the amount of patrons that could be expected with out-of-town tournament play. We would also be looking to create a multi-use space that would be able to be utilized for umpires and also be able to utilize for first aid or any kind of other ancillary actions that might need to be, indoors in extreme heat, extreme cold. Additionally, we would be looking at site grading improvements to address drainage issues throughout the park. We would also be looking to take the existing grass fields and utilize a different range of improvements across the complex tailored to each field, all the way from a complete reconstruction of a grass field all the way down to cultural practices to improve the existing grass fields. And then last but certainly not least, construction of an 88,000 square foot full synthetic turf field there to utilize, one, to draw in out-of-town play, and also when you have wet conditions, you're still able to utilize that field in wet conditions. And that would be wrapped up with sidewalks to increase pedestrian access. There we go. So this would be the expansion of the concession restroom. Our synthetic field here, and then enhancements to the existing grass fields with the needed fire lanes and concrete sidewalks. And then this is a close-up of the synthetic field and what it would look like. And if you notice, it's already accommodating 3 age groups. But to give you a little bit idea of how it would work, you can see those other line packages I just added. That would grab all 5 age groups that are currently utilizing it. That's what any questions?
All right, any questions, Mr. Robertson? All right, looks like a very exciting project. So pending council approval, when would you anticipate construction would begin? During the off-season, I'm assuming, or?
We would immediately go into development, to fully developing out the rest of the project and begin construction June 1st.
June 1st, okay. Well, pretty quick turnaround.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and expected time for the work?
We would be ready for sure in time for baseball season of 2024. And likely Wallace, we would expedite some of the natural grass work to get it playable for fall to utilize the growing season as much as possible. And likely for the concession and restroom and synthetic work to turn over certainly by that time as well.
Okay, very good. Any questions from the council on this item? Okay, very good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'm going to go ahead and read item 2, and Ross, if there's anything that y'all need to add, you're welcome to do so. So that way I'll have a reading of it being in the record this evening. Item 2 is resolution number 2024-025, authorizing the city manager to execute a contract with Symmetry Sports, tips 230104-02, in the amount of $7,884,710 for construction at Swanger Complex located at Spring Lake Park, and allocating additional funds in the amount of $395,000 for contingency items for a total project cost not to exceed $8,279,710, with funds budgeted in the 2023 bond fund, Fund 426. Once again, same schedule, public hearing March the 11th, and council vote on March the 11th as well. Anything else to add, Ross? That's pretty much got it. Okay. Gentlemen, we thank you for being with us this evening. We appreciate the information and look forward to this great project. Before we move along to our public hearings, I'd like to go back on to share with the gentleman that spoke earlier from comments from the public Since you're located out in the county, I don't know if you've already done this or not, but I would recommend perhaps that you contact your county commissioner, who will be, it should be Precinct 1 Commissioner Sammy Stone, to have him take a look at what you have. But since you basically reside outside of the city limits, I think the county commissioner would be an appropriate source to seek out.
Mr. Bergman, can you give me the information I need to do that?
Yes, sir. We can get that to you. Okay. All right. Very good. Thank you, sir. At this time, move along to our public hearings. That we do have 2 public hearings scheduled this evening. Item 1 is ordinance number 2024-016, amending ordinance number 2015-029 for a TERS agreement for Caldera 1 East in the TERS number 1 district and providing a map of agreed upon properties on which to base reimbursement. A public hearing will be scheduled this evening as well as council vote. So at this time, I'll declare the public hearing open on this item. If there's anyone who would like to address the council, if you'll please come forward and state your name for the record.
Mr. Mayor,
Good evening.
members of the council, Dr. Orr. Thank you all. I just wanted to thank the staff and the council that came to the Grimm opening last week. We appreciate your presence there for our fundraiser for the museum systems. I only want to say in this particular project that we are grateful as developers that the city has created this financial vehicle that allows for developers to get in front of some of our needs with infrastructure. And without your guidance and without your vision to be able to do this, we obviously wouldn't be where we are with Gibson West. So we really do appreciate it. Obviously, it's working as well as we all thought that it would. And I just wanted to say thank you in behalf of Caldera.
Very good.
Any
Mr. Reynolds,
questions?
if you'll please state your name for the record.
Richard Reynolds.
Okay. All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Appreciate your time and appreciate your comments, sir. All right. Appreciate all you do in the community. Public hearing is still open. If anyone else would like to address the council, if you'll please come forward. At this time, we'll declare the public hearing closed. Is there a motion for approval of the ordinance?
So moved. Second.
Motion by Councilmember Hart and a second by Councilmember Davis. Ms. Evans, the caption, please.
An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Texarkana, Texas, amending ordinance number 2015-029 for a TERS agreement for Caldera 1 East in the TERS number 1 district in the City of Texarkana, Texas, and providing a map of agreed upon properties upon which to base reimbursement and establishing an effective date.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ordinance passes unanimously. Item number 2 is resolution number 2024-022, authorizing the city manager to terminate the current natural resource damage assessment known as the NRDA interlocal agreement and directing staff to work with the NRDA trustees on restoration alternatives. At this time, we'll declare the public hearing open on this item. If anyone would like to address the council, please come forward. At this time, we'll declare the public hearing closed. Is there a motion for approval of the resolution?
So moved.
Motion by Councilmember Page and a second by Councilmember Hart. This item pertains to a resolution, so there's not a caption. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The resolution passes. This concludes our public hearings portion of the agenda. We'll now move along to the city manager's report. Dr. Orr.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Just a few updates to pass along to you tonight. First off, staff has been working with planning and zoning for quite a while now, since October of 23, on revisions to our current cell tower ordinance. And so we have a final proposed draft that will be presented to P&Z at their next meeting on March the 4th. And then after P&Z approval, we anticipate this item will come before the City Council in March for consideration. Also wanted to note that last week, Governor Greg Abbott appointed Mr. Kelly Mitchell to reappointment rather to SRBA. He also named him as the chair, and so SRBA is the board that is responsible for controlling, storing, and preserving the Sulphur River Basin. And so we look forward to working with Mr. Mitchell in this new capacity And of course, he is also a member of our Budget Advisory Committee. Also, just a update on the new terminal. And so things are moving along for the anticipated grand opening later this year, this summer. And so there's going to be a photo shoot March the 14th. So I wanted you to mark your calendars. We'll have more information sent out later this week. But they're asking for council members and also some staff as well. This will be used for advertising and marketing on the airport's website. But this photo shoot will be on site at the new airport terminal. And then finally, we have a save the date for this Friday. We're hosting a short-term rentals. This is Airbnb and VRBO taxes and tourism workshop. And so this will be at the Perot Theater at 9 a.m. and it's hosted by the Texarkana Arts and Historic District along with the city. So we have information on there. And then also all short-term rental property owners in the city should have received a letter last week inviting them to this event. So we'll have some additional publication for the general public as well, are invited to attend, but this is primarily for Airbnb owners that will go over taxes and tourism information. And just finally, just to kind of circle back to the bond projects, really appreciate all the work that our staff has put in along with the Symmetry staff. We've been working for several months on these bond projects to get them before you tonight. So appreciate all the work that's gone in. We're excited about the improvements that are proposed.
Very good. All right. Thank you, David. Appreciate your report. Now move along to administrative comments. Any comments from the council this evening directed to the staff? Comments? All is well. That's good. All right. And unless there's any further business to be brought before the council, I will entertain a motion for adjournment. 40 minutes tonight, 38 last time. Don't hold me to it, but that's a pretty good timing.
It sure is.
All right, is there a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
We have a motion by Councilmember Williams and a second by Councilmember Page. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no? Opposed, no. We are adjourned. Thank you all very much. I don't know what's wrong with me, but I hope everyone has a great evening.